Claves Intelligentiarum, a complete and practical manual of conjuration of the planetary intelligences by David Rankine. This is a new publication by Hadean Press, and I featured it in my top 10 favorite books of the year for good reason. This is a really nice introduction to grimoire magic. David Rankine is the author of the Encyclopedia of Grimoires, or the Grimoire Encyclopedia, which was released a couple of years ago now, I think. And in the introduction to this Claves Intelligentiarum, David explains that the thing that made him think of making this particular book was a review by Jason Miller, who essentially said, well, this is David Rankine, the conjurer, an aspect of, or a side of David Rankine that we don't see often enough. And here we go. This is Rankine, the conjurer, a voice that he frankly doesn't speak in often enough. There we go. And I think that's right. You know, the introduction that we get to grimoire magic here is delightful and absolutely appropriate for a first ever conjuration. I really appreciate the detail that David has gone into here in synthesizing what he knows and what he's experienced of grimoire magic, grimoire conjurations, and essentially given us a working that is kind of hard to mess up. The one aspect of this, I suppose, that may be a little difficult for some at least, is that it's recommended that there are at least 3 people involved in the conjuration, although he does say that 2 people can work just fine. 1 person is difficult, but it's not impossible. So don't let that prevent you from at least acquiring the book and getting an idea of what's going on here. If you are interested in grimoire magic at all, if you're interested in conjuring spirits, this is a really, really nice place to start, and it's based in tradition, and that's the reason why David recommends three practitioners as an ideal. So what do we have here? Let me just head over to the table of contents. There we are. You'll see that the practice itself is about half the book, and then the second half of the book is a number of very useful appendices. So we get the planning of the conjuration, an explanation of the perfect timings, of course, the usual planetary timings, the tools and their consecrations, so a full description of how to consecrate every single one of the tools involved, fragrances, the lead-in. Here we have the license to remain, which is optional, the triangle, the magic circle, and a nice little afterword there that explains what to do if it doesn't work. Things that you can try. But I really appreciate this. I appreciate this all the more than David explains that these are quite easy spirits to work with as a first time working, and I have to admit I tend to agree. These are spirits that are first of all described in Agrippa, though Agrippa doesn't describe the let's say the purposes or the specialities of each of these spirits, but Everything, of course, is described in here based on the workings that have, been subsequent workings to Agrippa's that have, in fact, given details on the usefulness of each of these planetary spirits, planetary intelligences. There we go. So then we've got these appendices, and these appendices are so cool, folks. First of all, a description of the planetary days and hours. I've done some extensive presentations on those on my own channel over here. And then we've got, this is so interesting, folks. You probably recognize these planetary squares and then these cameas designed by Agrippa, but he had designed those cameas on the works of Ike Becker, and David points out that he basically got them wrong. And so this entire appendix goes into the versions of Agrippa versus the versions if you actually follow Ike Becker's instructions to the letter. Very, very interesting, and also some very interesting conclusions based on how come it's been working anyway, kind of thing, right? Very interesting stuff. Then, of course, some archangel prayers, and then some conjurations, the actual conjurations of each of the intelligences. So lots and lots of those. And then here we go. The next one is the shapes of spirits, how they present themselves, and then a very interesting little chapter on dream charms for if you're wanting to get inspiration on how best to call a particular spirit, right? You can pop one of these under your pillow and ask a particular petition to be given some insight. And then here is the bibliography, which I think is going to interest many people, as it'll give you some insight into the inspirations and the works that have informed this particular working by David Rankine. It's really nice to see modern workings, actual new fresh grimoires based in 21st century practice, understanding, background, all the rest, and also ethics and so on. Very, very nice. And of course, we end up with a little index there. So there we are, a really nice, my first conjuration, as it were, right? But not just that. I think for anyone who's interested in grimoire magic, David Rankine kind of pops the hood on some of the technologies that are involved in grimoire magic and grimoire conjurations, and gives some really nice alternatives at times for particular aspects of whatever ritual it might be. And because he's so well versed in the traditional workings, he can really point to the difficulties that the novice might experience, the confusions that the novice might experience, and so on. So it's, really, really nice, really strong recommendation. As I say, it's not for nothing that this made my top 10 of the year of 2024. That's Claves Intelligentiarum or Intelligentiarum. Not sure how the official pronunciation should be for that, but you can see that it is Hadean Press's usual very great care to detail. It's quite a tight binding, but it is definitely Smith sewn on nice paper with black end pages there, and I'm going to say this is imitlin, right? A kind of a faux, what to call it? A textured paper covering, right? Very, very cool. Certainly the next best thing to actual buckram. There we go. Thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you found the review interesting. There are links to the book that you can find down in the description. I'm not 100% sure that there are still any, or at least many, hardcover editions of this remaining on the site. I'll certainly leave links if there are, but paperback editions are very easy to come by. Of Claves Intelligentiarum. There we go. All right, look after yourselves, folks. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye-bye.